Today we're improving the slice. Stay tuned for 6 tips for the intermediate player. Tip number 1 is to extend both arms as you hit. As you're coming down to hit your slice, I want you to extend your left arm as your right arm comes forward. This will act as a counterbalance and it'll help open up your chest. Tip number 2 is tracking the ball height with your eyes and adjusting your stroke level accordingly. A common mistake I often see is that players won't adjust how they're hitting the ball based on how high or low the ball is. For example, if a ball is very high, you're gonna need to come down at the ball a lot more versus if a ball is very low. You can't hit both of those balls the same way. If a ball is very low, you're gonna need to get your strings more propped up towards the sky and get under the ball more. So remember, track wherever the ball is and then adjust your body accordingly so that you hit the ball in the right place for the right type of oncoming ball. Tip number 3 is a little different here, and I've actually never heard anyone else talk about this, so I'm excited to share this with you. So I've talked about the idea before in other videos of always moving forward as you hit the ball. And the slice is no different. I want you to move forward as you hit the ball every single time. So to achieve this, we're gonna use a step called the karaoke step. And essentially what that looks like is as you go to hit the ball, your left leg, if you're a righty, is gonna pass behind your right leg. So as you hit your slice, you're continuously moving forward. One key concept that I want you to remember is to move forward in the direction that you want to hit the ball. So if you want to hit the ball cross court, I want you to do the karaoke step and align yourself cross court, right? And if you want to hit down the line, I want you to think about moving your body weight down the line. Tip number 4 is to finish more out in front and not so far out to the side. So you'll see a lot of players do this, and it's not necessarily wrong on your slice to finish out to the side like this. You can still get really good slice. You'll see a lot of pro players doing this too. However, to penetrate the court more and to have that low, deep, skidding slice, I want you to think about finishing more out in front on your slice. And you'll notice that when you finish more out in front, your body's more turned away from the net. And so this tip actually ties in with the karaoke step too. Because if you remember, when we're doing the karaoke step, we're not opening up our chest to the court. That's not what the footwork is. You're staying closed basically the whole time. So both of these can kind of tie in together and can really help your slice. Tip number 5 is to keep your eyes on the ball. Every time you start mishitting, I want you to think about keeping your eye on the ball for about a second after you hit it. I want you to think about keeping your eye on the ball and also keeping your head in the same position it was at contact for about a second. Tip number 6 is to remember to keep your strings more vertical. So again, this also kind of ties into what we talked about earlier. You don't want your strings to be facing up because then you'll pop the ball up and you'll have a slow floating slice. Instead, what we want is we want to have the strings facing forward towards our opponent, and we want to chop down at the ball, just like I was talking about earlier. So remember, keep the strings steep. If you want to get a little crazy with your slice and implement some off-the-wall techniques to increase your slice spin, then you need to watch this video next, because I'm going to share 6 advanced techniques, including how Federer gets the ball skipping off the court with his backhand slice.